Child's pose. So, no. I hope this works with the dog. We'll see. So just lengthen your body. Find your space to breathe here. Take a nice deep breath, inhale. Slow, long exhale. And just sink with your breath down to the mat. Nice deep breath, inhale. Slow, long exhale. Let's take one more breath. And then slowly tip our toes under and drive our hips skyward for our first downward dog of the day. So this is a 3 class, so we're gonna flow. And I think the best way just to get heat built into our body is just to get moving on this cold February morning. As you breathe here, maybe bicycle your heels just left and right a little bit. Create some length through your calves. And then lift those hips a little bit higher. Take your gaze to the top of your mat and slowly walk your feet up to meet your hands. On this inhale, find your first ragdoll pose of the day. So the head's gonna melt down towards the floor. And then release that and take a nice deep breath, inhale, and find your first halfway lift for the day. So remember, shoulders are down and back, core is nice and strong. And then exhale, fold down to the floor. Take a nice deep breath, inhale, rise on up to stand, and bring your hands to heart center and find your first mountain pose of the day. Relax the shoulders. Try to find some length from the bottom of your ear to the top of the shoulder. Knees are soft and bent. And take one more breath. And then exhale that out. Take a nice deep breath. As you rise your arms up to the sky, exhale, fold down to the floor. On an inhale, find your halfway lift. On the exhale, fold down to the floor. Hands reach here, step back, high plank. So first one of the day, let's go through our cues here. Elbows are gently, gently turned in, and you're gonna push your energy through your heels. On your exhale, you're gonna slowly melt down towards the floor. Elbows sweep next to the torso, pause. On the next inhale, lift your heart for an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 2 breaths here. And then lift your gaze to the top of your mat. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. On an inhale, find halfway lift. Remember, strong core, all that muscle being pulled in to the midline of the body. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Slowly take your feet to the back of your mat, high plank. Low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. You have to move, Watson. Good, and take one more breath. And then look to the top of your mat and walk those feet forward. On the inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your feet back and find high plank. This one should be a little bit easier. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and just rock your hips a little bit here. And then lift your head and float your feet up to meet your hands. On the inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. High plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pause. Sorry about that. Okay, let's move to the top of our mat. Yoga with the puppy just wasn't working out this morning. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do one more sun A. Lift your gaze. Feet move. We take a breath here. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's float those feet back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, right foot goes to the sky. We're gonna step forward. Right side warrior one. And I don't know about you, but I need these warrior poses today. Driving back from North Carolina yesterday, just sitting in the car all that time. My hips need some opening. Now let's turn that back toe and bring our hands down to frame the front foot. Step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take the left toe up to the sky. We'll look to the top of our mat. Slide that foot forward. As we turn the right toe out, we find warrior one, left side. Fantastic. Let's bring the hands down to frame the foot. Step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Open the heart to the top of your mat. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath, and then as we make our way to the top of the mat, we go right to thunderbolt pose. So bring those toes together and drive your arms up. Remember, wrap all that muscle from the sides of your body into your belly. Fold to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step or float your feet back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side, warrior one. Good. Can you gently turn that left hip to the top of the mat? Fantastic. Let's bring the hands down. Chaturanga. So we find our high plank, low plank, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take the left foot up in the air, slide it on forward, left side, warrior one. Move with your breath. Remember, don't push your body anywhere it might not be ready to go, especially if you're feeling still cold because it's 6 degrees outside, right? Bring those hands down and go ahead and step back. Nicely done. Low push-up, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath, one movement. Now let's soften the knees and make our way up to the top of our mat and find Thunderbolt. Beautiful. Let's come down. On the inhale, find your halfway lift. Fold down. Make your way back down to the mat for vinyasa. Inhale as you open your heart and chest to the top of your mat. Tip your toes under and drive your hips skyward for downward facing dog. Right foot comes up. We step forward, right side, warrior one. Let's fall and make our way back down to the mat. High plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Excellent. Let's come down to the floor. Step back. Move with your breath. One pose at a time. Teaches us to stay one day at a time. Now, let's move up to the top of our mat and find your Thunderbolt pose today. Fold to the floor, please. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back for high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side, warrior one. Go ahead and make your way to your mat. High plank. Remember, at any time you can just pause in these planks if you don't feel like you're ready for one more chaturanga. Left side, warrior one. And make our way down. On that exhale, we frame that front foot with our hands. Step back, low push-up, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. As we look to the top of our mat, we're going to soften our knees and move forward for Thunderbolt pose. Let's make our way back down to the mat. On that inhale, find your halfway lift. Nice long length through your spine. And then as you exhale, you fold. Inhale, high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Last sun B. Right foot goes up to the sky, step forward, right side, warrior one. Go ahead and bring your hands down and frame that foot. Step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, warrior one. Moving just a little bit slower in this power yoga class today. Just trying to really feel each pose and ground into our mat. Come on down. It's been a couple days for a few of us, right, doing yoga. So low push up, inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's move to the top of our mat for a thunderbolt pose. And fold to the floor. On your inhale, let's glean that length through the spine. Our gaze and drishti is out in the front of the mat, and then we fold on the exhale. Step or float our feet back to high plank, low plank, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right. Right side flip dog. Let's take that right foot up in the air and bend the knee first and just kind of open up the tissue on the right side of the body. Circle your ankle a couple times. And then 4 times the other way. And then make your way to flip dog. If you need to let your bum touch down on the mat, right foot goes to the outer part of the left side of the mat. Maybe extend your arm over your head. And then bring it back up. And then turn your body down to the mat and recenter and prepare to move to right side plank. So you just turn the body and reach the arm up, shoulder, elbow, wrist, all stacked. And then turn towards your mat. Option for a chaturanga here, or just stay in high plank. And then downward facing dog. So left side flip dog. We're going to take the left foot up first and bring the heel to the bum and circle the ankle just a few times. And then go ahead and take that toe and step it down. Slide the arm in if you need to. Reach up, get those hips lifted. Maybe open up that arm a little bit more. And then find your way back to your mat, recenter, and then turn for left side plank. 2 breaths. And then go ahead and make your way down to the mat. 1 chaturanga. Good. Downward facing dog. Let's take the right toe up in the air and slide the right foot through for right side crescent lunge. How you ladies feeling so far? You can just do a thumbs up. Good. Awesome. Now let's lower the knee down for 4. Bring it back up. Barb, just go where you can with this. 3. Little balance work. 2. And kind of prepping the hip for a couple of twists here. So bring your hands to heart center and pitch your body forward so you're looking at that right big toe. Slip the left hand down to the inside of the right foot and on your exhale, twist right. If you need a block, go ahead and grab it, your water bottle. Let's take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, bring your right hand down to the inside of the right foot. Now watch, that knee naturally wants to float out. Try to gently press the knee into the right tricep and then twist to the left. Keep that knee grazing the right hand. It's definitely a balance challenge. You notice my gaze is down at my fingertips. I'm not taking it up to the left hand. Now bring the hand down to frame the foot. I'm sorry, frame the right hand. Step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side crescent lunge. Ground into that front foot. Lower down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring your hands to heart center. Pitch your torso forward and look at your left big toe. Slip your right hand down to the inside of the left foot, and on your exhale, twist left. Now you're going to bring that hand down and slide it on the inside of the left foot. Same thing applies here. Don't let that knee fall out. Press it gently into the tricep and keep the right headlight of the hip down at the mat as you twist to the right. Definitely a balance challenge. And then go ahead and bring your hand down and step back, high plank. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side, warrior 1. So you're going to turn that left toe. Now exhale, warrior 2. So we're going to flow a little bit here and work our core. I want you to turn that palm to the sky and find a reverse warrior. On your exhale, find your side angle pose, whether it's extended or you're pausing on the thigh. Take your gaze up to the left hand. Take a breath here, and on your next inhale, lift those fingertips up to the ceiling and come right back to reverse warrior. Exhale, bring the hand down to side angle or extended. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. One more time. Inhale, come up. And exhale, come down. Bring your hand down, turn that back toe, step back, high plank, and pause. Just pause here. Drive your hips up to a downward facing dog. Take your left toe to the sky and step forward, left side, warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Remember that front knee does not collapse, right? It stays grounded. You're going to turn your palm to the sky and find reverse warrior. Now take 2 breaths and feel the pose here. Feel the work in the front of the torso. And then as you exhale, find your side angle pose. So remember the first one I took you through a little slower. On this inhale, lift up to reverse warrior. On your exhale, come down to side angle. On your inhale, reverse warrior, side angle. I think we have one more. And now come all the way down. Just pause and feel this side angle pose, a little deeper, a little bit more work for the core. And then turn your hand down, turn the back toe, step back, high plank. Take 2 breaths. And then make your way up to a downward dog. Now lift the gaze, and we're going to move the feet to the top of the mat. Find a halfway lift here. And while you're here, slip your hands away from the floor, your shins, and press the palms to the sky for airplane pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, chair. Now from here, scoop those shoulders down and back and lift your heart. Take your left elbow and anchor it either in the middle of your thighs or to the outside of the right thigh for a twist, prayer twist. As you take your next breath, perhaps open up and express outward a little more. And then slowly turn back down towards the mat and let your head float to the floor. Monkey pose, you're going to take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes and let your head melt. And then release the bind that's on those toes and rise to stand. Exhale, chair. Shoulders are down and back. Feel the pose, and then we twist on the exhale. So find the way to anchor that right elbow without jetting out the right knee. Twist left and express out. And go ahead and make your way back down to your mat on the exhale. Gorilla pose. Your palms are going to go underneath the soles of your feet. Let your head melt down and just take those toes, if it feels comfortable for you, just to massage out your wrists. Maybe lift your chest off those thighs a little more to create some space through your thoracic spine. Let your head melt to the floor. Now release your hands and make your way to crow pose. So you can take your feet to the wide edges of your mat and just pause here for a moment, right? Pushing your upper arms into those thighs and lifting your heart. I think it's nice just to take a breath or two here, really open the hips, open the heart, open the mind, and prepare for crow, right? Crow requires a lot of focus, strength, and balance. So take the palms apart. You can set them on the floor. Perhaps this is your crow for the day. If you feel ready to go up and let the toes leave the floor, just lift the hips and take your gaze to the top of your mat as my thighs slide off my arms. One more breath. And then make your way back to high plank. Yeah, we're going to do that slow today, Wendy. Thank you. Exhale, low push up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side warrior one, please. Good. Open up to warrior two. Now let's take that left glute, push it behind us, and straighten out the right leg. Reach your right arm as far away from your torso as possible, and then fold down to your mat. Your hand can be on a block here, on the shin, or above the knee, just not on the joint, the knee joint. Now on that exhale, bring the hand down to the inside of the right foot and turn the left toes, slide them in for pyramid pose. So remember, all four corners of your feet are connected to the mat. The head decompresses down towards the floor. Soften your right knee and bring all the energy and body weight on the right leg and lift your left leg off the floor. On your exhale, open up the left hip to the left edge of the mat and find balancing half moon. So it's external hip rotation for that left hip. You can see my foot. I am having a lot of trouble today balancing. That happens when you're kind of out of sorts and have been traveling. Now turn that left hip down towards the floor and step back for a high plank. Now soften the knees to the mat and bring your forearms to the mat for dolphin pose. So you're going to cup your hands, tip the toes under, drive your hips up, and look back at your toes. And notice there, my head is not touching the floor. It's a core strengthener, shoulder stabilizing pose. And then slowly lower your knees down. Take your hands to the mat and then come back up to a downward dog. Let's take that left toe up towards the sky, left side, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Open up your arms and take your gaze out those front fingertips. As you start to push the right glute back, you're going to notice that left leg straightens. Reach your left arm as far away from your torso as you can until you can go no further, and then melt down for triangle pose. Gaze goes up to the right fingertips. Now, bring that right hand down to the inside of the left foot, turn your right toes, and slide them in. Pyramid pose. Let your head just melt down like you're going to kiss your knee. Just let everything in the posterior part of your body just decompress here. Now we're going to soften that left knee and lift the right leg off the mat. Push your right heel away and open up the right hip to externally rotate the hip away from the torso, away from midline. If you can, lift your right arm up. If it's too much, keep both hands connected to the ground. And then go ahead and bring that hand down, bring the feet together, allow the big toes to kiss. And just decompress everything in a forward fold here. Soften your knees and rise to stand. Hands come to heart center and exhale. So we're going to stand on the right foot and take the left toe behind us for warrior 3, right side. So as you exhale, you pitch the body forward. Remember, this is kind of like balancing half moon. However, the headlight of the left hip is face down towards the mat. Find a home for your hands. And then go ahead and sweep the left toe over and cross it on top of the right thigh for a standing pigeon. If you need a chair to hold on to, go ahead. Just do your best. One more breath. Good. And then release. Nice deep breath, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's step back with the right toe. Keep the chest lifted, soft bend in the left knee, and we're going to pitch our body forward. Warrior 3, left side. And then slowly bring that foot forward, cross it over. Keep your drishti out in front for standing pigeon pose. And then go ahead and just sweep that foot down. Take a nice deep breath, inhale, and exhale. Okay, standing on the right foot, we're gonna cross the left toe under for standing eagle pose. Thread the left arm underneath the right, and if you can, soften that right elbow and lift your right toes off the floor. Go ahead and release that. We'll get to do this on the other side. Thread that right arm underneath the left. Try to lift your elbows up. Don't keep them down low, but keep them up. And then go ahead and release. Good. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center, fold down at the floor, step back, down dog. On an inhale, find your nice high plank, and on an exhale, lower down to the floor as slowly as you can. And we'll prepare for locust pose. So, allow your hands to sweep next to your torso. And on an inhale, lift your chest off the floor and legs and look out on the horizon. One more breath. And then slowly just let your head rest down on the mat and rock your hips side to side. Take another deep breath, inhale, and rise up. And then slowly come back down to the mat and just rock your hips. Bow pose. So remember, you can always do half bow by taking one forearm, using it as a kickstand, and taking the other hand to reach back for the ankle. That would be half bow, or you can go ahead and do full bow. And go ahead and release that. Take your right cheek to the floor, bend the knees, and drop the feet side to side. Now we're going to bring that right forearm underneath the chest. Take that left arm, if you're doing half bow, to the other side, or full bow again. And then go ahead and release that. Bend the knees, drop the left cheek to the floor, and just take the feet side to side. So let the toes come back down to the mat with your hands right underneath your shoulders. You're going to lift up to an upward facing dog. Great time to just find your place in this pose, right? It's a big chest heart opener. Strong work through the core. If it's too much on your back at this point in class, just drop the knees to the mat. And then exhale, child's pose. On this inhale, we're going to sweep our feet in front of the mat and bring ourselves all the way down to a supine position for some core work. So the legs are up over the hips. We're going to drop the legs to 60, 30, hover, and then bring them back up. 60, 30, hover, back up. 60, 30, hover, back up. 60, 30, hover, back up. 4 more. 3, strong core. Good, here's 2. 1 more. Good. Now scissors. So gently just take those toes and cross them, hover, and come back up. Remember, you can always lift the head, take your gaze to the knees. If you have any tension at all in your neck, just drop the head down to the floor. 6 more. You can always take your hands back and just gently hold onto the neck. 3 more. Good, 2. Last one. And then soften the knees and roll up to boat pose. Chest stays lifted. Try not to slouch. 2 more breaths. And then let your feet come down to the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale, seated forward fold. On this inhale, we're going to come back up for a wide boat. You can cap off your big toes with your peace finger or take your hands to the outer edges of your feet and take those legs up. Make sure the chest is lifted and you're not slouching. Two more breaths. And then slowly bring your feet and knees together and make your way back down to the mat for Supta Baddha Konasana. Now allow those knees to come back up together. We're going to roll over to our side and bring our feet behind us and make our way to pigeon pose. So as we make our way up to downward dog, let's take the right toe up to the sky and thread it underneath the torso for right side pigeon. You can take your hands wider than your shoulders, width of your shoulders, and just allow yourself a few little push-ups to make your way back down to the mat. And then just find a home for your hands and let your head rest down, 5 breaths. And then go ahead and just slightly start to rock that right glute side to side. And then bring your hands back up. Tip that left toe under and come back up to a downward dog very carefully. Let's lift the left toe up and slide it underneath. Gently allow that right leg to melt behind us. Offer those little push-ups here just to get the body down a little bit closer to the mat. And then go ahead and find a home for your hands, 5 breaths. Go ahead and just start to rock those left glutes side to side. Create some space there in all those fibers. You can bring your hands back up. Maybe continue a little bit more. And then just go ahead and roll on that left glute and reach for the right thigh to come forward. And we'll find ourselves down again on the floor, knees to chest pose. Go ahead and let the left leg go nice and long and take your left hand to the outside of the right knee and on an exhale, lying spinal twist. If you'd like to take your gaze to your right fingertips, that'll help to open up some release on those fibers in your neck. And then slowly come back. Let's switch sides. We'll pull the left knee into the chest, reach it with the right hand, and on an exhale, spinal twist on the other side. And then slowly come back and take your legs up to the sky for legs on the wall. If you'd like to go to shoulder stand, go ahead up. I'm right there with you, Wendy. Right, we've just got the heel of our hand on that posterior crest of the hips. Perhaps plow pose. That's in your toolbox. You could take your toes and slowly reach them over your head. Great way to decompress that cervical vertebrae, right? Deaf man's pose. Let those knees come next to your ears. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, walk back out to one more Supta Baddha Konasana. Palms, or soles of your feet together, one palm on your heart, one palm on your belly. And then go ahead and just let your feet walk out away from your torso for final relaxation. Time to integrate. It is a natural part of spiritual development to have periods of activity and growth followed by periods of relative quiet. Sometimes we need to rest in order to integrate a new vision of the world or ourselves, taking time to assimilate realizations and let old patterns and habits fall away. The purpose of times such as these is to stabilize our new growth. While it may appear that nothing is happening, these can be necessary periods of rest and integration. Sometimes, though, slow growth or no growth can actually be stagnation. We may have become attached to keeping things as they are, afraid to invite more change. Yet change is the nature of reality, and when we resist it, we fall out of sync with what is. Just as a plateau is a good location to get our bearings, to see where we have come from and where we might go next, it is also a place we must not be afraid to leave if we are to move to the next level. There is a Zen expression, practice as if your hair were on fire. What this is meant to inspire is the sense that there is no good time not to be on your spiritual path. This is not to say that you can ever rest or stop. It is not about overachieving or overworking yourself. It is just about challenging yourself to always be awake in your life, to keep showing up in the moment. If you need to rest, do so for the present. But if you are stagnating, numbing out, escaping, or being unconscious, it is up to you to acknowledge it. Often stagnation settles in just before an important breakthrough. It may be a symptom of fear, one last wall thrown up by your small self in order to protect you from a life-changing realization. Sometimes it helps to explore the stagnation in order to move beyond it. Have compassion for yourself as you work to remove the obstacles to your progress. With persistence, you will be on your way to the next plateau. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning. I was really grateful to start this week off with a class again. I wish you guys a blessed day. Namaste.